My original video featuring the best laptops for music production is one of my most popular videos ever. But those were not cheap laptops. They were high-end machines. If you're on a tight budget, this video is for you. These are not some recommendations from me gathering specs online. My viewers have tried and tested these laptops and are getting real results in their studios. To give you my own first impressions, I even checked out these laptops in person at a local store to give you my take on some features that you can't tell by checking them out online. These laptops range in price from $500 to $700 and will run the most popular music production software out there. Let's cover some of the basic specs for popular DAWs. Cubase, Ableton Live, and other DAWs recommend at least an i5 processor or a multi-core AMD processor. Recommended RAM is 8 GB. The higher processor cores, speed, and more RAM you get, the better. It translates to smoother performance, especially when running multiple plugins at once. So all the laptops in this roundup have those minimum specs. And all of these laptops will run all the popular DAWs, including Ableton, FL Studio, Reaper, Reason, Cubase, Studio One, Cakewalk, and others. I'll put links to get any one of these laptops in the description of the video. Now, I'm not going to get into MacBooks, even though I use one myself. The prices are pretty high, so I don't consider them budget laptops. That said, a MacBook Air with similar specs will be a good choice if you want to stick with Apple, especially if you prefer running Logic or GarageBand. You should also check out the used market for cheap MacBook Pros too, or cheap Windows laptops. Here's some quick information about my audience, the people recommending these laptops. Most of you are Windows users. The majority make hip-hop and EDM. Thanks to everyone who contributed. Take the time to leave a comment for the people who took their time to share their experience for your benefit. Let's get started. At number 5 are laptops by Dell, the Inspiron and Latitude. Inspiron? Inspirons start at $600 at Best Buy and include all the specs you need to run the popular DAWs. In fact, at the $700 retail price point, you can get an i7 processor for even better performance. These are excellent budget laptops for the price and could be the cheapest you can find. Check your local stores. The sales on these laptops are insane. In person, the Dell was my least favorite laptop to look at and handle. It looked and felt dated and wasn't as slick and modern as the other laptops in this roundup. It kind of reminded me of something a student would take to college for their term papers. The keyboard was okay, but every other laptop keyboard in this list was better. The trackpad was nothing special either. You should note that Dell has had issues with their XPS laptops and audio latency. I reported that in my last video. I found that people also reported similar latency issues with Inspiron laptops. If you do find a Dell laptop that you're interested in buying, Google DPC latency to see if anyone is reporting major issues. I'll link to a good article about DPC latency in the video description. By the way, if you've got some extra cash laying around, upgrading to an i7 on any of these laptops in this list will cost you around $200. But that upgrade seems cheaper with Dell. At number 4 are laptops by Lenovo. The Lenovo ThinkPad E590 has all the specs you need for your music studio at $700. If you want the flexible form factor, the Yoga model comes in at around the same price with similar specs. Both models have been recommended by my viewers. I had a hard time finding good deals on Lenovo's at local stores like Best Buy or Micro Center, but on the Lenovo website, there are similarly spec'd IdeaPads that start at $500. I find Lenovo laptops very business-like, but I love their keyboards, as does another one of my viewers. They feel really good quality and are very comfortable to type on. Another viewer pointed out that Yoga laptops have good Geekbench scores. In person, the Lenovo ThinkPad was kind of boring, but discreet if that's what you like. The keyboard felt excellent. I actually use this laptop at work and love typing on it. The trackpad is decent, but doesn't compare to my MacBook, of course. This is a well-built laptop and has been dependable in my own experience. Now, if you're ready to upgrade to something higher end, check out my previous video listing the top laptops for music production. Those are high end, which means more plugins, smoother performance. Check it out in a video here. At number 3 is HP. My HP viewers are running FL Studio and Ableton on HP's Pavilion model laptops. I found the lowest prices on HP laptops online. In fact, several Pavilion models come in just over $500. Definitely some of the cheapest laptops I found. In person, the HP Pavilion looks awesome. It looks and feels more expensive than it is, possibly my favorite form factor in this list. The keyboard felt excellent and high quality, and the touchscreen model I tried was responsive and quick. But the trackpad was my least favorite. It felt scratchy to the touch. At number 2 is Acer. Viewers recommended the Swift, Aspire, and Nitro models. I couldn't find an Acer laptop under $700, so they're not the cheapest in this roundup. But viewers really like them, and for $30 extra, I found a Nitro model, which is a gaming laptop by Acer. With the Nitro, you get better graphics and some other bells and whistles. Viewers who love Acer are running Ableton, FL Studio, and Studio One, and they're reporting no issues. Good enough for me. In person, the Acer Aspire reminded me of the Lenovo. Subtle and businesslike. It felt a little big and bulky. The keyboard felt great, and the trackpad was excellent. Probably my favorite trackpad. The contrast on the screen was a bit off. It may have been the one I was looking at, or maybe the store lights. The Nitro model definitely had that gaming laptop look. It felt premium and super high quality, but kind of like the Aspire, it's really big and bulky. Maybe even bigger. Before we get to number 1, if you're finding this information useful, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, leave a comment below if you have any questions. All right, coming in at number 1, the most recommended budget laptop is by Asus. The Asus VivoBook comes in at a very good price point at around $700. One of my viewers said it runs like a dream, and you get everything. The i5 quad-core processor, 8 GB of RAM, a 256 GB solid-state drive, and a 15-inch screen. Most of my viewers are running Ableton and FL Studio on their Asus laptops. But with these specs, you can really run anything. I had several other Asus models recommended by viewers, including the Rogue laptops, which are more expensive. But the higher-end ZenBook is only $100 more. I couldn't find an Asus VivoBook in person. Most stores were selling the Asus Rogue laptops, which are the higher-end Asus laptops. They're the ones I recommended in my last video. I did find a couple small ZenBook laptops by Asus at the store. The ZenBooks felt really premium, looked really good, the screens were top-notch, and the keyboard felt good as well. By the way, I found very few reported DPC latency issues with both Acer and Asus laptops. Maybe that's why they made it to the top 2 positions. Now listen, if you don't need portability, you can save some money and improve the performance of your studio by getting a desktop computer instead of a laptop. Desktops with similar specs to the laptops on this list are typically cheaper, so you can even upgrade some options like the processor and RAM. And it's easier to install upgrades later on a desktop than it is on a laptop. Desktops excel in performance, efficiency, and cooling, which is important in a quiet studio. So all the laptops in this video are priced similarly, but check the latest prices and models using the links in the video description. Listen, if your studio is working, you may not need to upgrade at all. Several viewers said they're using an i3 processor with 4 GB of RAM and are still making music. If you're interested in what I use, I have a 2018 MacBook Pro with an i7 processor and 16 GB of RAM. It's been great for music production, but you know, Macs have their quirks as well. I hope you found this information useful. If you have a question, leave it in the comments below. Make the music you love, and I'll see you guys later.